Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Society in the Snow. I'm excited to see this. It is 2 hours and 24 minutes long, so it's a longer movie. That's why I had to wait for the weekend. As you can tell, I'm still a little under the weather, if you will. Hopefully going to get better here soon. But 7.9 on IMDb, 6,544 people rated it so far, so pretty solid there. Now, there's nobody in it I know because it's a Spanish movie, right? And so, which is cool. And if I know Netflix, they dub it, so you don't even have to read it. So that's awesome. So what is the movie about, Jeff? Well, let me tell you. I'm glad you asked. It's about a rugby team that crashes into somewhere in the Andes and has to, survive by being stuck there. Let's see if there's any, and then you survive the environments that are surroundings and stuff. So I don't know if I'm dating myself, but there's a movie called Alive. Very similar premise in my mind. Now it could be completely different, but it sounds very similar. So anyway, let me check it out, see what it's about, give you a better idea, let you know what I think. Stick around, I'll be back. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Society in the Snow, and so I realize now that when I mentioned Alive, it's not a remake of it, it's not a sequel of it. It's just another adaptation of this story. So this is the story of that rugby team in 1971 who crashed in the Andes, and some people made it back. But that's a true story, so it's not really a spoiler alert. But it's everything. It was just a new way of telling the story that was told in Alive. That was in a book called Alive. I didn't realize Ethan Hawke was in the Alive, the original one. So I thought that was pretty neat. Hold on a second. So it's not really 2 hours and 24 minutes long. It's really 2 minutes and 9 minutes long. The rest of it, 15 minutes of credits, which are rolling on right now, which is cool because it's showing the pictures of the real thing, right? Because this is based on a true story, so it's showing everything, a lot of these pictures. Now, good movie. Here's some of the things that I take away from it. It's very grueling. It's hard to watch, what they had to resort to in order to survive, all that kind of stuff. But one thing that, I kept thinking about was, after watching it, there's not a lot of character development in this, right? So there was 40 people, not all 40 came back, but they had a little bit of character development, but I had a hard time, connecting with any one person on here, and I think that might have been done on purpose. And then at the end of it, as they're going back and they're announcing the people who were survived and stuff like that, what I think they ended up doing, and tell me if you saw this, obviously this is a true story, so I'm not spoiling really the movie itself, but when they talk about that, they kind of focus the people that I was somewhat connected to or had an idea about were the ones who didn't survive. So I think what the director, writer, producer decided to do in this case was, hey, let's focus on them and let's create their story. I still think they could have done it a little bit better as far as that goes, right? I mean, I think everything else was done really well. Feels really long, obviously, and I think that's intentional as well because they were there for a really long time. I thought that was interesting when they, again, going through the survivors, and I was like, I don't remember that guy. I just watched 2 hours and I don't remember him. And it's different too because they're from Uruguay, so they have different naming conventions of, themselves, so it's not like something I'm used to. So, when they say Paco or Sergey or something like that, it's like, okay, who was who again? So I could have I focused and I paid attention all the time. I could have just missed it, but I really feel like for the little bit of character development, it was spent on the non-surviving rugby players. So, for the most part. And that's cool. I would have liked to see more development on them and more background on all of them. They only very short beginning to lead you into the plane crash, and then it's really most of the time spent on the survival aspect of it. So, and that's great, and I like it. And how much more longer do you want the movie? I don't know. I just think there's another way to do it, and maybe that's what Alive did. I don't even remember, but that would have been cool. I would have enjoyed that aspect. But otherwise, it was good. A great tale of survival. I also found it interesting, again, not really a spoiler, but a little insider information. They had cigarettes and a lighter the entire time, and they found even more cigarettes. So they were able to enjoy a cigarette every now and again, which is great. But why didn't they start more fires? You know, like, why would they not have fires? And you know what probably happens on these things? Like, why wouldn't you cook certain things? That I don't understand. I miss why. I'm sure there's a reason, but I found that odd in this case. Like, why wouldn't they just be? You have a lighter, you have things you could set on fire. You could probably create more fires. So I thought that was interesting. So I had one more thing I had to share at the spoil. Oh yeah, and one. So there you go. That's what I got. You know, it's long. If you have the time, check it out. If you've seen it live, you know what you're getting into. But it takes a while to get through. So, but I do want to say one thing. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I mean, it's based on a true story. But I will say, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. So, I mean, is it not depressing that what they did in order to get rescued could have been done 60 days ago? You know what I mean? It's like, oh my goodness, if they could have just done that way back in the, you know, like, I don't know when you make that decision, but, you know, 70 days into it, or 60 days into it, you make that decision. It's like, wow, we could have been out of this so much sooner. I was just like, wow, that is terrible. So, there you go. That's it. I wanted to throw that last piece in. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.